It's pretty well known that St. Francis of Assisi loved animals. We know Francis as the patron saint of animals. And I think that can often be a rather fluffy thing as we see Francis with his bird baths and surrounded by these different creatures. But I think Francis's spirituality and love of creation is so much deeper and so much richer than just playing around with some animals in the field. It really comes from Francis's profound experience of God in creation. That when Francis preached to the birds, he also shared that same godness with them, that same createdness of being the goodness of God's creation, as Francis was, and so were the animals, and so were the trees in the fields. And I think this is just so beautifully captured in his Canticle of Creation that he wrote near the end of his life. And he expresses praise for brother sun and sister moon, and just expresses the wonderful creation that we share, and the beauty that we are privileged to be stewards and caretakers for, and that we have a responsibility to just be the best stewards that we can, to be taking care of creation and to be responsible to the world that God created for us to live in. And this canticle, I think another beautiful thing about it is it was only fully finished as we know it today at Francis's deathbed, when he prayed it with his brothers as he was dying, and he added in this very last line that we have about praise to sister death. And even knowing that in our death and in our dying, we participate in God's creation, and that's the order that God created, and there is beauty in knowing that we return to the natural order. And so I just think that that's something that we really try to live out at St. Francis, as we have sustainability is a big component of our university, and just knowing that when we recycle, when we reduce our consumption, and when we are protecting those who are most impacted by climate change, that we are sharing in the praise of God's creation, and that's just the beauty